Right, so bolognese. We're going to start off with the celery, the carrots and the onions. So get your celery, trim the ends, wash them. And not only does it add a wonderful flavour, it also bulks out the dish. Make sure your knife is sharp. More accidents are caused by blunt knives than anything else. But I love this dish. I was brought up with it as a child. My mother used to make it once or twice a week. There were 11 children. My mother had to feed all of us, and with mum and dad there were 13. So she needed food that was healthy and could be cooked in bulk, and Italian food did that. There you go in the pan. I've got pink onions, which I quite like. They're very good for pickling as well. You can buy them in small jars from supermarkets. It's about £2 for about a quarter of a pickled pink onion. Buy your own. These are on special offer at Lidl, 60p a bag. There's a lot of garbage talked about how you cut onions. I'm not that fussy. Get rid of this. Carrots are going to give texture, and as they cook down they're going to bring a sweetness to the dish. You often see in Italian recipes the old nonnas putting a spoonful of sugar in the dishes to finish it, but I often wonder if that's because they have the fresh tomatoes and they're more acidic. Some garlic. 2 big fat cloves will do. Seen loads of gadgets for peeling garlic. Bloody plastic, bloody rubber tubes, and shaking them inside a bottle, and just bloody crush them and peel them. Or if you want, go to the supermarket and you can buy them frozen in blocks, little oblong blocks, and they're really cheap, but there's no substitute for fresh garlic. So there you go. We're going to cook that down for about 10-15 minutes. Put a lid on. Lid doesn't fit, but hey ho, that's life. So the other ingredients we need is jelly stock pots. A lot of people might sniff and say use fresh stock, but let me tell you, these jelly pots have a long history. Goes back hundreds of years. They used to boil it down and they used to carry them cut up into cubes, and then whenever they'd stop, they'd add them to hot water. And we took on voyages and everything. So we have fresh basil, we have minced steak. I've no pork in, otherwise I'd be making it with steak and pork. But I do have steak and it's 15% fat, and you want the fat because that's where the flavour is. And if you're on a diet, don't eat lasagna anyway, go eat a salad. We've got some Parmesan Reggiano, we've got some tomato paste, we've got some thyme, we've got some oregano, and we've got pepper, and we've got a splash of Worcestershire sauce, and we have Heinz tin tomatoes. And if anyone knows about tomatoes, it's Heinz. And that's it so far. So here we are. The celery, the onions, the carrots, nicely sweated down. Don't forget they're going to cook for 3 hours in the bolognese. So the next thing we're going to add is the tomato puree. Now this does need cooking off because it is acidic. So a nice big squirt of tomato puree. Stir it round, make sure it's mixed in. Now let that cook off for 5 minutes. So, the tomato paste has been cooked off, and we're going to add the mince. Now this is minced steak, you can add minced beef, you can add pork. I've seen the old Italian recipes, well the new ones in fact, they add veal. Let me tell you, veal is very hard to come by in Britain. I think you'd have to get it from a butcher's or a really posh supermarket, and it's never been liked here. And I think for 2 reasons: one, because it has little or no flavour, because, well, the muscles aren't worked, and 2, because of the practices of slaughtering baby cows. Yet we have absolutely no problem with doing this to killing baby lambs. So go figure. So this needs to be mixed in, and you need to break down all them strands. You don't want a bolognese with strands in it. Can't think of anything bloody worse. You gotta get in there. And a good way of doing it is doing this, pushing it around and pushing it against the sides of the pan, and it breaks it down. There you go, broke down enough. Lid back on. I'm going to let that cook for another 10 minutes. So here we go. Final home run. It's been cooking. Now some people are really pretty picky over browning mince. They want it really browned and they want a crust on it. I, however, do not want that. I just want it cooked. I don't want crunchy bits in my food, especially not a bolognese. So to this, 1 tin of plum tomatoes, and we're going to fill up half that tin with water. There you go. We're also going to add 1 beef jellied stock. nice rich flavour. Splash of Worcestershire sauce. The Italians might not disagree, but I'm not in Italy, so fuck them. Some nice pepper. A nice grinding, you want to taste it. And some oregano. There you go. Now, stir all this. And we're going to bring it back to the boil, and we're going to put it on the back burner on a low heat and leave it for 3 hours. Now, I brought it back to the boil, and the last thing it needs is a glass of red. I've chosen Shiraz. Don't be bothered about the wine. It's going to cook for 3 hours, and most alcohol's going to cook off, but it's going to leave a wonderful flavour. So we're going to make the bechamel. In this pan we have 500 ml of milk, 1 carrot cut into 3, 2 bay leaves, 1 onion cut in half, and it says use peppercorns, but I don't see the point of putting them in and fishing them out. You're not going to get the full flavour of the white and black pepper, so I've put a good grind of pepper in it. I'm going to slowly bring it to just underneath boiling point, and this is what we're going to use to make the bechamel. So here we are, the milk is about to come to the boil. So carrots, bay leaves, onions, and a good rasp of black pepper to flavour it. So it's nearly bring to the boil, and give it a few minutes, and then we'll see what we'll see. And you can see first bubbles. There you go. And swap pans. And here is 50 grams of salted butter. We'll let that melt. And this is how you make bechamel. Now you can let that milk cool down and infuse all the flavours, but I don't want to. I'll have enough flavour in it. Only needs a few minutes. There you go, the butter's melted. Going to add 50 grams of plain flour. I'm using 00 pizza pasta flour. So the ratio of flour to butter is always the same. If it's 50 grams of butter, it's 50 grams of flour. If it's 100 grams of butter, it's 100 grams of flour. That don't change. This is now called a roux, and we're going to cook this for a bit to get rid of that raw flour flavour. Let's check it. Starting to smell like biscuits. So you can go to South America where they turn this really dark brown for some of their famous dishes. So anyway, that'll do. Now I'll start adding the flavoured milk. If you did this one cold, it'd take longer because you'd have to wait for the milk to heat up. But we're not. We're using hot milk, so it's quicker. Just keep whisking. Keep whisking until it starts turning smooth. There you go, we're getting there. Might need a bit more milk though. There you go. Bastard milk. Oh. Don't want that carrot in there. Let it cook out for a bit. I'm going to flavour it with some aged parmesan. This has been aged for 30 months, so that's 2.5 years. Now you're getting some recipes where they put a layer of grated parmesan in between the layers of lasagna, and but you can just put the parmesan in your bechamel, and it's done with then. There you go. So here we go, we're going to put the lasagna together. I can make my own pasta, but I'm not doing today. This is Napolitan lasagna. And I think they're the largest type of pasta you can actually buy, aren't they? Very thick, wide, flat noodles. So, and we've got some fresh basil, and we've got the parmesan bechamel, and we've got the bolognese. Here we go. Spread it out. Some bechamel. With beautiful, beautiful lasagna sheets. There you go, and start again. Now, some people have loads and loads of layers of lasagna sheets. I don't. I like a really thick filling and very little lasagna sheets, so there you go. There you go. Look at all that. It's not to like. Last layer. There you go, last layer. Some people also like an extra thick layer of bechamel. I don't like that. I think it shouldn't be smothered. I think that's alright if you're making a moussaka, but we're not. But hey ho, I'm not Italian, and I only go by what I think is good. And last but not least, the final grating of that lovely, lovely Parmesan, which the Italians put on everything. And not because it's a cheese, but because of its flavour. It's probably the finest seasoning known to man is Parmesan. It's a wonderful, wonderful product.